What's up, guys? Welcome back to the StreamKick podcast. It is Friday, which means it's time for the Phone In Friday show, where you can call in and be on the show to talk about any questions or things related to Twitch that you want to talk about. Today, I'm really excited because we have two special guests. First of which, actually both of you are here for the first time on the show. But Ricky from StreamKick, Nasty Camper, is here with us. How's it going, Ricky?
Hey, good. How are you guys?
Good, man. If you guys don't know, so StreamKick is something that we're going to be unpacking a little bit on the show related to discoverability on Twitch. We'll explain that in a bit. But our other guest here is the one and only SownEquation, CEO of TRUgaming. Sown, how's it going?
What's up?
Good to have you on finally.
Thank you.
So, yeah, guys, and Belly.
Finally.
Belly.
I had to invite myself.
I mean, you were always able to come on.
Oh, just kidding.
I didn't realize this was your first time too. I'm like double honored now.
VIP situation.
Yeah.
Belly, you're the third person here too. I guess I got to mention you. How's it going?
Yeah, you don't need to mention me. I'm nothing.
Jeez. Well, cool. If you guys haven't seen the show before, again, you can actually call into the show to be on the air. And this week, for the first time, you can call in with your video. So we're testing that out. If you want to do that, type !call in the chat. You'll get a little link to join. You can sign into your Twitch and come right on the show. And we'll add you on when there's a chance. We're not going to do audio only this week just because of how things are working. But if you can't get your video chat to come on, or you're at work or something, you can still ask your questions or your takes in the Twitch chat and in Discord, and we'll read those. So don't worry. But first thing is I want to run quickly through some of the Twitch news over the last couple of weeks. So we are 2 weeks out since the Black Friday was our last week. A lot of stuff happened. Quickly running through here. I'll pull up the podcast Discord here. So the focus for this week I want to talk about is discoverability. But in terms of actual news, there's a few big announcements that are made for Twitch. Probably the biggest of which is that TwitchCon is coming to Europe in April, which is pretty cool. It is April 13th to the 14th, and that's something that people have been wanting for a long time. They're finally doing it. It sounds like actually they might do 2 TwitchCons now. It's not. I don't think it's replacing the one in the US. So, but you guys on the panel, what do you guys think about the first ever EU TwitchCon?
I think it's awesome. I think it's nice that they get the chance to kind of be involved. You know, it's always been stateside. It costs a lot of money to go back and forth. So I think it's nice to help them feel a little bit included, a little more included, I should say.
Right. Yeah, especially because a lot of people did come from overseas just to be at TwitchCon. So it's cool to see they're supporting overseas streamers and stuff like that too.
Yeah, every year they get more folks from the EU that come over and other parts of the world, and everyone's kind of been saying for the longest time, like, can you just do it on the East Coast, because that's like half the distance for us time wise and money wise. That's that's still really good. I'm glad they're doing it. I think it's great. Like, the more people that can enjoy the event, the more feedback they can get for that and future events is good. It sounds like they're like pretty much copying what they're doing in the US version. They're just doing the same thing in the EU version, which I think is good. But man, I really wish they would do the East Coast TwitchCon. That would be really convenient.
We can hope one day. You never know.
Yeah.
They just skipped right over us.
Yeah, every time.
Just past it.
West Coast straight to Europe.
Yeah, of course. So that was a big deal. Really excited for that. I'm sure if you guys are from the EU and you listen, you're excited too. A couple other things. Nintendo. So this is kind of more related to YouTube, but still factors into streamers. Nintendo is getting rid of their content creator program, which sounds bad at first, but actually it's a good thing, because if you had ever tried to put Nintendo videos on YouTube or something like that, Nintendo videos were getting demonetized a lot. It was pretty much any sort of Nintendo content you put up there, you can't make money off of on Twitch or YouTube, and some degree Twitch as well. So this is going to open the door for a lot of more creators to live off of Nintendo content and make more Nintendo content that's sustainable. So that's pretty exciting. Belly, you have any initial thoughts on that one?
I think it's cool. I mean, I don't like putting a gate on, like, you can't make money off of playing our games. Like, I don't know. I never liked that to begin with. So the fact that that's going to be gone is cool. But aside from that, I don't really stream Nintendo games. It's not really my stream style. I might get into the new Pokemon in a little bit, but yeah, it doesn't affect me too much. But I think it's good for everybody overall.
Right. Sweet. Anybody else got any special tie to Nintendo?
Well, no special tie, but I'll talk about it. You have to there's a little bit of fine print there though, because you do need to be in the YouTube partner program, or you need to be at least a Twitch affiliate in order to monetize the Nintendo content.
Right.
You also can't just stream or monetize gameplay. You have to be adding something to it. So there needs to be either some kind of commentary or analysis, or I don't know, whatever people want to add to it. I think it's good. I mean, Nintendo, Nintendo is such a close brand to a lot of people. To take the ability for them to kind of express their creative, enjoyment of their products online and then make money doing that, to me seemed a little silly. And you've got like Fortnite and others that are doing their creator programs. League of Legends announced theirs, that type of stuff. It's just that's marketing now. It's not even like an option anymore. You just have to do it. So I think Nintendo would have had to have done this at one point or another. It just was a matter of time.
Yeah, I was really surprised they did it, actually, just because I feel like Nintendo's made a lot of kind of stupid decisions in this area in the past. As much as I love Nintendo and the company, and like you said, it's very close to people, they're just not the best with working with content creators and little things like, adding the paid internet subscription now, after 10 years of people getting used to it, then hating it, then it being phased out. But I'm excited that they did this, and hopefully it'll bring out a lot more great content for them and just stuff that's fun to watch. So
yeah, the article I was reading about it was interesting, because they were actually saying that the reason they did it in the first place was because I guess they were in some financial trouble not too long after the Wii came out, or Wii U or something like that. And then now they're saying that as well as the Switch is doing, that the financial pressure is off and they can open it up. But I don't know if I believe that. I don't know that they were making enough money off of getting a cut of that YouTube money that really made a difference. I don't know that was really a reason or not.
Yeah, and in the long run, maybe they make more money this way. Even though it seems, you have the opportunity to take a bigger cut from people, there's less content to take a cut from in the first place. So maybe this open up more money in the future. You never know.
Yep.
So that was really cool. A couple other things. Oh, one of the big things I want to mention too is music updates. So Twitch made updates to their music policy, and basically they got a little bit stricter in terms of what types of stuff you can use as music. Now, I want to preface this by saying they're still not really taking action on music for the most part. There's some very niche cases of bigger streamers getting DMCA'd or something, and their channel banned for 24 hours. But by and large, most people just get their VODs muted. That's about it. But they did make a stance where basically they cut out a lot of content, which is weird. So you can actually you can't apparently stream Guitar Hero, Just Dance, those kind of games anymore. You can only do Twitch Sings, which is really interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they're developing Twitch Sings.
Dang.
So, weird how that one works. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of understand it because they have the rights to those songs for that.
Right. But
I mean, I get it. I get it. It from at first glance, yeah, it's horrible. But I mean, you're streaming to their platform. You know what I'm saying? They have the rights to those songs, so
Was there an issue with Guitar Hero and stuff like that? You could stream that before, right?
I guess you could. I think technically the issue is that those games aren't licensed. The music in those games are licensed to be played by people, not necessarily streamed. Does that make sense? Whereas Twitch Sings is being designed that way from the ground up. So I guess that's the thinking behind that. But
so
that was only. Sorry, go ahead.
If you streamed it, would your VODs get muted? I guess they would, right? Because
probably so. I mean, you think of the songs in there. It can't tell it's a game. It's not going to justify because you're playing Guitar Hero or something. It's still going to hear the music.
Right.
So, but that was just one piece of it. There's a lot of other changes. You can't. They crack down on covers a lot. So, one thing I used to do on my streams is do guitar covers, 2 songs, and play over top of them. That's against their TOS now, essentially. Wow. So you can't do any guitar covers unless you are creating everything yourself and doing it live and doing it in the intention written by the artist. That's the actual verbiage on the page.
Wow.
So you have to be really, really specific with how you do your covers, apparently.
Oh my god.
You also, this cracked me up, you can't do lip syncing. Lip syncing is strictly off limits on Twitch. So don't even think about it, guys. Absolutely not okay.
Swear to God, streamers. If I catch you, oh,
it's over.
Oh. No more baby shark ever, okay?
How dare you on our platform?
Wow.
Stupid as rule. It's like turning into Footloose. Like no dancing ever. I swear to God.
There'll be an underground resurgence of dancing on Twitch now.
How are they going to enforce all this?
Well, that's the thing. They aren't.
They're gonna take your birthday away.
Yeah, and Santa Claus. Don't forget that.
Yeah. What the hell?
Can't have Santa Claus. If you're lip syncing, there's no Santa Claus for you this year.
Steph in the chat said he followed someone who practices guitar on stream. You can still play your own music if you practice songs and things. You can't.
Yeah, but if he's practicing other people's songs.
Well, I think you can still play the song if you're creating it originally and you're not playing over top of it, if that makes sense.
Oh, so like you could have just a guitar, nothing else, and play the guitar and sing.
Yes, exactly.
Stupidest rule, dude.
But like the fine text there is, please do your best effort to do it in the intention of the artist who wrote the song. So anyway, I just thought that was funny. Other pieces. So apparently, visual representations of songs are also banned. I don't know what that means. Like you can't show tabs.
Interpretive dancing. Can't do it.
They probably mean like music videos.
Yeah. Well, it also specifically said like sheet music. How dare you show sheet music?
That's
so funny. Like who's doing that?
Oh, if you even show an instrument, I swear to God. Oh.
So you can play guitar, but you can't show your music. You can't see the guitar, and you have to sing live. Is that correct?
You can't even move your mouth.
You can't. Yeah, no. Oh yeah.
How are you supposed to play Twitch sings without singing?
That's allowed.
No, that's
stuff you're allowed to do.
So you have to sing. You can't lip sync.
They don't take your birthday away if you use Twitch sings.
This is so stupid.
All of these things are permissible if you're doing Twitch things. Then it's fine.
Yeah.
Bring all your
Santa Claus is alive.
It's like a baby got put in charge and just started stupid rules.
The thing I want to say about all this is that like it sounds really scary, but in reality, Twitch is not doing anything yet. So the advice I saw on Reddit and what I would agree with is it's probably fine to do until you get acted upon, and then you change it.
It's like, always that's like saying that you can do anything until you get arrested. Well, it's not okay anymore.
I mean, it's a hard. I think people get really attached to music as part of their streams. So. And it seems like the worst that Twitch is doing right now is just muting your VODs. In some instances, you get like a 24-hour ban or something. And if that happens, you just never do that music again. So I think it makes sense personally. But if you really want to be really careful, Twitch actually does have their own section on their site of all stream-approved music. And you can actually like buy licenses from platforms like MonsterCat now to get all their music approved. So that stuff's in our Discord. If you want to check that out, you can go there to make sure that everything is perfect on your stream.
That is so dumb.
Yeah.
So now you have to pay. So now you have to pay to play music on your stream?
Yeah, to buy the licenses. Technically, that's what you're supposed to do, I think. But you can also play some of the playlists that they have for free there. So
90s pop better be on sale. That's all I'm saying.
It's all gaming EDM. I'll tell you that right now. That's about it.
Wow.
So if you're elite,
no Britney Valley.
That's so stupid. That's so stupid.
How would they even know if you have a
down.
license? How would they? It's like when you have work done on your house and you have to like post a permit in the window. It's like when you're streaming, like, oh, I have a license. It's like just part of your overlay. Yeah, it's like part of your overlay. And like, I purchased this music.
Yeah, I think they said a couple of things. One of them is that you can appeal any muted VODs now through a system they have and like show the license. So it's funny because you can actually buy the license and still get muted despite all that effort.
That's what's going to happen.
Get through the process of appealing. So it's just it's so hard with live streaming.
Seems like a really lazy attempt.
They should come up with like a stamp that you have to put on your forehead or something.
Yeah.
So when they review it, it's like, oh yeah, he's good.
Anyway, that's the long and dirty of all.
Why don't they just pay for the license themselves? Like. It's Amazon. Like they can afford. Like they can pay for it. They really can't afford it.
Well,
Oh,
look
man.
at the upside of this. They're giving us at least a good solid year of fresh memes from this. So
Very true.
thank
We
you,
need those
Twitch.
memes.
Appreciate
Oh,
it.
my God.
Well, the next rule is going to be like, don't meme Twitch.
How dare you?
You're the true MVP.
All right. Well, really quickly, thanks Remicos for the sub. I appreciate that, dude. Also, welcome to everyone joining us here. Glad to see you. I want to remind everybody, if you want to join the show, you can actually join with the video today, along with your audio. So if you want to promote yourself a little bit on stream, it's a good way to do that. Just join that link in the chat, and you can come on the show. And also, if you can't get to the video, you can just type in chat, and we'll answer that as well. Just tag @TRUgaming so we see it in red there. Okay. That was most of the updates. There's just a couple of other small things. A lot of discussion about the importance of moving around and taking breaks while you're streaming for long periods, which I think is good because a lot of people get the sense of just sitting there and typing at a desk for 4 hours at a time.
Hey, Green, did you see the question right there?
For Nada.
No, Erie Kular.
Yeah. So Erie Kular says, my friends make music. Does it count if I have their approval vocally or in a text? That is a good question. I know that you can probably have your friend make you some sort of license in text, I would guess, and that's probably fine. If you get muted for any reason, first of all, I doubt you get muted at all. You're not going to get banned, that's for sure, if it's their own music. If you get muted, you can just send them the text, and it'll probably be fine. So that's what I would say to that. And it's fine to make your own music on Twitch. I just want to clarify that. They're not banning that. Don't worry. Yeah, the last thing I also saw was Lyric followed up on the stream coach comments a little bit. We weren't sure if he was going to. For those who missed it, basically Lyric, who's one of the biggest Twitch streamers, said that, quote, if you need a coach to do live streaming, you probably shouldn't be live streaming. And then he got a whole lot of backlash for that on Twitter. Lots of discussion. He came out later and said, I'm sorry for saying that. Apparently, I need a stream coach because I don't know what I'm doing. So it's kind of not the greatest apology, but it's something.
That's the most backhanded apology I've ever heard.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but I gotta say, I didn't think he would comment any more on it at all. So there's actually, he talked a little bit about it on stream as well. If you guys want to see that, that's in our Discord. There's a few clips of that, and he was. Overall, I think he's just sort of skeptical about it and really thinks luck is everything on Twitch at this point. So, in any case, that's kind of the wrap up on that discussion, and we'll get into the viewer topics now, I would say, and then also talk through discoverability with, actually, this is probably a good time just to go with Ricky into StreamKick a little bit. So, do you want me to call you Ricky or Nasty? I don't know what you prefer on here.
Either, but not both in combination.
Nasty Ricky. All right, I'll just call you Rick.
That works.
So do you want to talk to everybody a little about what StreamKick is, that whole platform?
Yes. That's the best intro.
Yeah, perfect setup there, I think.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, so StreamKick, the idea for StreamKick really came out of this notion that finding the stuff you want to watch on Twitch and other platforms too is really tricky stuff. And pretty much any streamer that you talk to, you guys all stream, so you know this, but any streamer that you talk to will essentially say the same thing. It's like, I think my content is good enough that more people would like it, but it's really hard to get it in front of more people outside of traditional channels. And so I came up with the idea for StreamKick back in I want to say 2012-ish, somewhere around in there. And it was really just about, there's got to be a better way to just find stuff that I like. Because what was happening for me is I would spend time and I would go through directories like everybody did at the time and does today and just click through stuff. And then you spend a few minutes on each channel and say, is this for me? Do I want to stay? Do I want to go? What do I want to do? And then, you've invested a certain amount of time at that point into that channel. So switching from one channel to the next becomes, really frustrating. And back then, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I don't think you got an ad every time you changed channels. I think there was a cooldown on it. But I know if you're not ad free right now, I think you do get one every single time you change channels. So it's even further discouraging people from bouncing around and looking at different channels. So anyway, so that was kind of where the idea came from. And we said, there's got to be a better way to do this. And the other side of it is, when you're in the channel, it's not always so much what the person's playing that's the most interesting thing. That's just kind of what people have been trained as, like, that's like the gateway, right? Like if there's only one way to get into this building, you know, everybody's going to go that way, and you're just going to assume that that's everyone's favorite way of coming in the building, when the answer is it's the only way to get in the building. So that's not really true. So what happens is you have people who like, you know, Fortnite or Blackout or whatever they're playing or whatever they're watching, and they go in and they watch the streams, and you just assume that they love that streamer because they play that game. And what we found out is that that's not actually true. It has a lot more to do with the character of the streamer and different characteristics that they display while they're streaming that actually make people want to stay. And the challenge with that is there's no way to know about that. Well, at least there wasn't. There is now. There wasn't a way to really know about that prior to going into that channel. You just kind of, you know, spitballed it and hoped for the best. So what we're trying to do is build a way so that you can actually learn more about the streamer prior to actually going in the channel. So you can decide, you know, do I want to invest the 5 to 10 minutes or whatever it takes for me to figure out if this is a channel that I want to watch prior to going in. And our theory here is that if that works, then the people are going to be more likely to stay. It's going to grow followers for streamers and ultimately lead to a more engaged audience and hopefully more subs. But the important metric in all of that, followers, engagement, and subs, is the engagement. Because what we're finding in our experimenting and asking of folks is that the more engaged the streamer is with their audience, the higher an opinion the viewers have of that streamer, and the more likely they're going to be to return. So really that's what we're focused on, is getting you into the right channels to begin with, and then creating active users within those channels so that they stay and build up that community.
Right. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit at TwitchCon with you, and it just sounded so cool. One thing that I love about this specifically is that it sounds like you're building it for the viewers more so than the streamers, which is interesting because I would kind of argue that a lot of what Twitch is doing with discoverability is serving the streamer more than it's serving the viewer. And, you know, we talked about, you know, Bell and I talked about this a little bit. A lot of what was announced at TwitchCon was catered towards the streamers, not the viewers. They had like one thing they announced for viewers, and the rest is all about, you know, giving streamers more and making more streamers on Twitch. So I like that you're building something for the viewers first that also does serve streamers. But
yeah, I mean, the thing is if you make a better experience for viewers, more viewers are going to want to stay. More viewers are going to be loyal to the channels that they have, and that's good. That by itself will make the situation better for streamers. You know, you can, if you hop on Reddit like any day and go in the Twitch subreddit, you'll find, you know, at least a half dozen posts on there of people saying, I've been streaming to 0 viewers for 6 months. I can't do this anymore. What am I doing wrong? You know, and it's like, yeah, even one viewer for that person could make a huge difference. So can we find one viewer for that person that'll show them that they're onto something, or maybe they're not, and maybe they're not cut out for it. But at least then they'll know because someone's watched and given them some kind of feedback.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, Twitch has not been great about catering to the viewer. Actually, I think we were talking about that at TwitchCon, and that was when Emmett was on stage, and you know, he announced one thing for viewers, and he's like, all right, moving right along, here's 100 things for streamers, and this is why those things are all great.
Yeah, I think I just like that you're building something that way, because there's just not that much out there for viewers, I would say. There's a lot of tools for streamers, not many for viewers. So it's exciting for me. But Sown and Bell, do you guys have any just thoughts about, you know, discovery in general, and also StreamKick a little bit?
Sown? Oh, me? Okay. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really, really cool. And like we had talked about this before, and like when you first brought it up, I love the idea, because before that, the only way to stand out is you make your overlay and everything look better than everybody else's in your current area, which is like the only real thing that you can do to make yourself stand out at all. Like you have a better camera angle, better camera, better overlay, and hopefully clearer gameplay just on the one thumbnail that you get when scrolling through the browse directory. So having this, which is like an actual source telling you like you might like this streamer, like is so much better than just scrolling and looking for the cleanest thumbnail, essentially.
Right. Yeah, there's some default stuff on Twitch, and they're working on it, but I don't think it's quite there yet.
Yeah.
So far. I also, they have rolled out a lot recently in terms of the tagging updates, and they're featuring people on the front page now, which is nice. But I feel like, like I said earlier, that stuff really caters to the streamer more than the viewer. It just seems like a new way for people to join streams as opposed to really giving them stuff they want to watch.
Yep.
Like Nada in the chat was talking about earlier, he gets suggested streamers that he has no interest in watching, basically, which is a good point there. And I think, they have these good systems in there. Like, tagging is a good system. I'm excited by that, but they haven't really done a lot with it yet. And you can filter your streams a little bit when you're going to directories, but there's a lot more they could do with that if they really want to help out the viewer, because there's no way to actually sort through the whole directory of specific things you want to watch. So
yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was going to agree with you. Like the tagging system, we're actually working on a tagging system as well right now at StreamKick. Ours is going to focus. Ours is going to be way more limited than what Twitch is doing, because what we did is we built basically a search engine. So a lot of the things that you would search for in a search engine, they've just added as tags. So in our opinion, it's easier to just have a system that people are accustomed to, where you can just pick a few filters and it'll take care of it. And then we don't return, like, based on what the results are, we don't return like the whole directory. So like if you say, show me Fortnite streamers that match these criteria, we're not just going to give you, 1,000 Fortnite streamers that match that criteria. We actually limit the results because we want to try and get you the right stuff. It's just kind of like Google's mentality of, we can just have a page that scrolls forever, but we're going to try and get the results right on that first page above the fold. That's the same approach that we're taking. But like with the tagging system, it just makes a lot more sense, in our opinion, to have that kind of just integrated already. But we want to add tags that are a lot more reflective of, like, I kind of struggle to describe this sometimes, but we want to like add tags that are more reflective of like very specific characteristics about the stream. So like, for instance, we were talking about music earlier. That'll probably change now, but we asked the community, like, how important is background music to you? And it ended up being kind of like people were on the fence about it. But to have something that says like, hey, I play background music in my streams, that to me makes more sense as a tag than multiplayer, right? Like, so, multiplayer doesn't really help me very much. But if I hate background music, now as a viewer, that helps me a lot, because if you always play background music, well, then I'm just not going to watch your channel, right? I'm being hypothetical here, but
no, it definitely makes sense for sure. Music is really interesting to look at too, in terms of how viewers interact with streams, and a lot of streamers have different thoughts on music for viewers, but I think it's important to have that in the system somewhere. So we are getting some questions in now from the chat, so I'll go ahead and read some of those off. Reminder, if you guys want to call into the show, you get priority to get your question answered. So I'm going to drop that link one more time. Love to get at least one video caller on here to test out the platform. I know Susie talked about calling in. First question I saw was actually from Meemaw, and that was, how do you plan to drive traffic to your site for folks to search?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the biggest thing is to help, from a streamer standpoint, to help it so that you're more discoverable on the platform. It's important to have your audience go in and rate you based on the characteristics and attributes that we've laid out. So the easiest thing to do to get found on StreamKick is to go in, have your audience go in, rate your stream. We actually have a review system too, so they give you reviews about particular streams. Have them go in, rate that, and then that will help and influence how and where you show up in the search results based on what people are actually looking for. And so the idea is then if a viewer comes in and does that and says, oh, well, this is good, it's going to expose me to more content, hopefully they'll stick around and start using that, leveraging that to discover that new content, and then it kind of builds on itself. That and lots of marketing is the short answer.
Lots of money. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I think that'll definitely be a big challenge for something that's not built on Twitch natively, but I mean, there's plenty of precedent of companies that have done that successfully. So I don't think it'd be really too much of a challenge there. Some more questions from the chat here. So I gotta find where it was. There's a lot of questions coming in. Okay, so Nasty Camper, no, that was you, sorry. I keep forgetting that you're a Nasty Camper. So Vladian asked in the chat, is StreamKick limited to Twitch, or would it search all stream platforms, including Mixer and others? And you kind of answered that in chat, but you want to talk about it on the show too?
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep that one quick. That's a good question. Initially, Twitch, just because it's the biggest, and we're we're past the proof of concept stage, but we're still trying to flesh out some of the details. Just makes more sense to do that where you have the biggest audience, both in terms of viewers and streamers. So we're going to start there, and then quickly from that, we're going to, as closely as we can, replicate that so that you have Mixer, you have Facebook, you have Caffeine, and whatever else between now and then comes up. I don't necessarily think that we want every single platform, but I do think we want the ones that people at the time care about. The idea behind that, of course, is it kind of goes back to the discoverability problem. If I invest hours of my time into finding 10 streamers that I really like on Twitch, I know what that process feels like. So if I go to Mixer, my first instinct with Mixer, and I like Mixer, I think it's a great platform. My first instinct with Mixer is, I got to do this again. I just did this on Twitch. I spent however many months finding this catalog of streamers that I love to watch on Twitch. Now I have to do it on Mixer, right? And then you have to do it on Caffeine. So you have this thing where there's this barrier, this artificial barrier that just exists between the platforms that the platforms haven't necessarily intentionally created. It's an unintentional consequence of how they've handled discovery. So what happens is there's no cross-platform migration unless the streamers themselves move. And so that's what you're starting to see, is that the streamers themselves are moving between the platforms, and they'll bring viewers with them as a result. What we want to do is just break those barriers down completely and say, come to one place. And it doesn't matter what platform they're on, because at the end of the day, in 3 or 4 years from now, all the platforms, they're all going to do the exact same thing. That's just how it's going to be. Just like social media and everything else. Everyone just copies everyone, and eventually it's all the same thing. So from a viewer standpoint, great. I don't care what platform they're on. Just show me the people that I want to watch. I don't care where you're streaming. If I love your content, I'm going to watch you. And that's what we're trying to get at.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think you're right. We'll see more of the kind of leaving and going to different platforms, and people just streaming everywhere as the years go on. So having a system that supports that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
would agree. All right. So one good question. So to follow up your question, your point about the way you're going to drive a lot of traffic is by having existing streamers take their audience onto StreamKick and leave reviews. Susie brought the question, what about people who really don't have an audience yet, who still want to get discovered, but they don't have anywhere to start with, so they don't have viewers to go leave them reviews yet?
Yeah, so that's a really good question too. You can review yourself. So that's one option. It's not the best option, but it is an option. The other option is, just the fact that you're streaming a particular thing at a particular time of day, and the fact that we limit the results. If there's people who are looking for specifically what you're doing, we can help them find that. So one of the features that we have is a viewership filter. So if you're looking for people who are streaming, maybe it's an obscure game or something like that, but that game has an audience, and you're trying to support, and there's viewers out there who do this. You can go on the Twitch subreddit and you see this constantly. They're like, I like to watch people who have no viewers and help them. You can come to StreamKick and you can actually say, I want someone who has 0 to 5 viewers, and they play this game, and you're on at a certain time of day. That'll help in discovery as well. So just trying to break down just the basic process of how Twitch has laid it out by go into the category and then scroll through. Just by giving the viewer more control over that in and of itself will improve your ability to get discovered. And then if you have someone who comes in as a result of that, whether it's us or something else, encourage them to come and rate you on StreamKick. Have them come in and provide a rating on StreamKick, and then you'll start building out those ratings.
Right. Yeah, and some of the stuff will, writing your own review is kind of subjective, so that's maybe not the best, like you said, but a lot of the stuff for your stream is objective in terms of what games you're playing, what your schedule is, whether you play music. Those are yes or no questions. So even just by filling that out, I'm sure that's going to help you get found more basically on StreamKick, even if you don't have a huge audience to leave your reviews.
Right. And then I know, Camper, you were saying when we talked about this before that if someone does happen to leave a bad review, then they're just trolling or something like that, you can kind of question it, send it to you guys, and you guys can look further into it, right?
Right.
I think
Are you guys hearing something that I'm not?
Oh, can you not hear Belloc?
I can't hear anything he's saying.
Oh, all
really?
right.
Oh, really?
Oh,
He might have been muted, actually. Look under his thing. Not sure.
His screen's black to me. I can't see anything.
You can't
Wow.
see Bellic
Oh my
at
gosh.
all.
No, I can't see or hear him.
I just
Bell, do you
lost
want to rejoin the
screen,
call,
too.
maybe? Because it should
Yeah.
stay fine if you want to
Yeah.
do that really quickly. I'll bring you back in a sec. In the meantime, though, sorry about that. So
What in the
it is a new
world?
software.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Yeah.
you all good now?
Yep. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There we go.
I don't have
Sorry
green.
about that.
No, it's all good.
Let's try again.
But basically, you were saying when we had talked about this before, that if someone were to leave you like a trolly review where like everything's just bad and like it just seems like out of place, that we could like send it like to you guys, and you guys can look further into it to see if it is something that can be removed, because it just seems like they were trolling us, trying to leave us a bad review to basically bring our rating down. Is that something that you guys are still thinking about?
Yeah. So we actually like preventing troll. Oh, I just lost Sown.
Same.
He's coming back
Okay.
in.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So a big thing with what we're doing is we want to be really, really careful that the system doesn't get abused, because any type of review and rating system, that's like that's kind of everyone's first reaction is like, oh no, people are going to come here and they're going to trash me and it's going to, end my streaming career and I'm done and whatever. That's exactly what we don't want to happen. So there's a couple things we put in place to protect against that. The first is any reviews are essentially reportable. So if there's a review that comes in and you read that and it's like, obviously like this shouldn't be here, there's a report button and anyone can report. It doesn't just have to be the streamer. So we're big believers in allowing the community to do a little bit of self-policing. I think that is actually a helpful thing. The other side of that is that there is a premium model to StreamKick, and one of the perks of the premium model is that as a streamer, you're actually able to respond to reviews. So if someone comes in and they say something to you and you feel that they're not trolling you, but maybe unfairly characterizing your stream, or maybe they came in and said, hey, you're the best streamer ever, and you just want to like recognize that, you'll have the ability to reply to those reviews as well. And then the other kind of hurdle we put in place is a simple one. It's just a cooldown system. So when you come into a stream, you can't rate that stream initially for 2 minutes. So we force you to actually stay in and watch the content for 2 minutes before you can provide a rating. And from there, we'll transition you into writing a review if you want to. But you can't just write a review without leaving a rating. And you have to be in for at least 2 minutes to do that.
Right.
Yeah. So just going to add to that real quick. One thing that we're kind of asking for from both streamers and viewers kind of feedback is, is 2 minutes. How does 2 minutes feel? Does that feel good? Does that feel too long, too short? We don't know the answer to that yet, but that's kind of where we've landed so far.
Yeah, it's a tough balance because, I mean, on the one hand, I totally get it where you don't want people who are just going to come in and troll. And similar to like how there's the, a certain amount of follow time on Twitch and Discords just to gate that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you don't want people to have to wait an hour to leave a review and then never do it because it's too long. So I think it'll probably take some testing to find that out, I would assume. Yeah,
it's really surprising. You'd be surprised how long 5 minutes feels when you're watching something you don't like.
Yeah.
But you want to provide the feedback at least to like, influence what you find later, and also to, return something to the community. And that I should probably clarify too. Our rating system is not a system designed to punish. It's not like a 1 to 5, you're good or bad at this thing. Our rating system is it's purely subjective based on the viewer. And we use basically descriptive words, so adjectives to describe attributes rather than a qualification of good versus bad. So for instance, like one of them is sportsmanship, right? We don't say you're a bad sport and no one should watch you, like 0. The natural connotation that has when you give people a rating system that's numeric is they assume 0 bad, 5 good. That's just how we operate as people, right? So like our sportsmanship thing is, the lowest end is salt god and the highest end I think is saint-like. Okay. So, Ben, your perception of, Velok stream, and Sown, your perception of Velok stream, you guys might be different. Yeah. At times. Today, for instance.
Yeah.
Yep.
When Fortnite goes bad. But yeah, so that's another mechanism we put in place to kind of protect the streamer. We don't want the rating system to be like a punishment, like a whip, right? It should actually be there to benefit the viewer and their ability to discover content from then on.
It's almost like not even really like a rating, more so as a description, I guess. Because you're not saying they're good or bad. It's nice because you're kind of like defining what their either stream personality is or what their stream is like,
Yeah. Exactly. And we started with like thumbs up and thumbs down, and that just felt like too easy in a bad way. And then we went to 0 to 5, and then that felt bad. And there's also research out there that says when you give people a 0 to 5 scale, people gravitate towards 3, and you start getting 3s for everything because nobody knows what to rate anything.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think of Twinge too. If you guys know Twinge, it's this similar thing out there where you can review streamers, but that seems, again, very streamer centric to me, where it's more of the streamers getting a badge or some sort of credibility as opposed to the viewer finding someone they want to watch. So I think it's different enough that this could be more beneficial. One question that I saw that was really good from chat was, have you guys thought about making the time to leave a review something that the streamer can set themselves as opposed to a platform wide, where maybe one stream wants it to be 5 minutes, maybe another person wants it to be an hour or so, or is that kind of an issue of some sort?
No, actually, we designed it so that it can be set by the individual. So the timer is currently designed to be channel specific. So right now we just defaulted it across all channels to be 2 minutes as we test. But the idea is actually this response came from the creative community. So we were at the Twitch Orlando meetup a couple months ago, just like before TwitchCon, and there's a lot of creative streamers in Orlando, as there probably are in most other cities too. And we were doing a presentation there, and one of the cosplay streamers there pulled us out after and was like, "Hey, sometimes when you're doing cosplay, you get like really focused on like a particular aspect of your outfit, and what they'll do is they'll like zoom the camera in on that tool like as they're sculpting. And a lot of people who like to watch cosplay streams like to see like that precision work. And then while they're doing that, they're so focused on that they're not interacting with their audience at all. So her concern was, if I'm doing that and someone comes in and they're like, oh, this person, they never talk to their audience, they ignore them, they hate their audience, and there's 300 people in there, but the streamer hates them all somehow. She's like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why should I be punished for that? And so she actually had said, maybe that timer should be 25 minutes. And I was like, that seems like a lot of time to watch that. But she's like, yeah, but my audience does. And so that's kind of where the idea of saying, okay, well, maybe for you, 25 minutes is actually the right number. So I think we're moving to that. But as it is right now, just kind of across the board, it's just a flat 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think it kind of makes sense. There's some issue, I've guessed, where if people set it to be an hour, then they're only going to get good reviews and it might kind of skew the system. But I think it also does make sense because people want different, for some people, a minute might be enough to judge the stream. For others, it might be an hour. So I understand that side of things too.
Yeah.
All right, some more questions coming in. Just a reminder, guys, if you have a question, you can join the call and get your question answered first before other people. So,
hey, did you see that question earlier? Maybe you answered it, but I didn't hear it. It was, if you're not live, will it show? Did you guys get that question?
Yeah, basically, I didn't take it down. Do you want to read it off really quick?
Would a streamer be discoverable on StreamKick if they aren't currently streaming?
So through our browse tool, you have to be live, but we also have a tool where you can type in a person's specific like Twitch ID, their Twitch handle, and we'll take you right to their profile. So if they're live, they'll be on. If they're not, you'll actually see their profile and see all the data that we've collected and put together for them.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, a couple more questions. So HandyRoo said, will you eventually implement something such as a featured streamer or streamer section in StreamKick?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we talked a lot about that. We've gone all over the place with that, and where it kind of last landed, we haven't done this yet, obviously, but where it kind of last landed is, instead of just doing like a featured streamer, that doesn't really feel like we're doing much service to the community, because we're just kind of, picking someone, and there has to be some criteria for choosing, right? Like we can't just, we could just like, randomize it and say, hey, you're featured. But does that help you if you're a viewer coming to StreamKick, right? If we just grab someone random and stick them in front of you, I feel like at that point we've kind of failed in our mission, which is give you what you want, because now we're just picking someone at random. The other side of it is, you know, a paid model where someone can say, hey, I'll pay, you know, there's sites, I think there's a few sites out there that do this where you can pay like $5 or whatever to be featured for a certain amount of time. I think that's really attractive to a lot of companies because it feels like it's easy money. For us, again, it feels like it's not really helping, because then it's like the streamer saying like, hey, you know, or we're saying, hey, $5 is worth us wasting more of your time, viewer. Here's another stream that you may or may not like. So instead, what we wanted to do is break it down into categories and say, you know, within the last week, here are the most, as rated by the community, here are the most sportsmanlike, or here are the best Fortnite streamers as rated by the StreamKick community over the last 7 days. And then allow people, because then it doesn't matter, you know, you may not have a ton of viewers or whatever, but you may be great at the game and 2 or 3 viewers have said, hey, this guy's really good, you need to check this out. All that stuff would factor in and move that person to the top. So Velvet, get ready. We're about to blow you up. Man.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because if you did the sort of paid system that some places do, like I think like Binks and maybe Twinge and things, the issue with that is it goes against the whole purpose of the platform too. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to find people who are tailored to you or what review or something, as opposed to people who just pay to be there. So yeah. I think that makes sense.
Well, and it's kind of like, it's just super seductive if you're a company and you know there's this big appetite and people are willing to throw you $3 to be featured for an hour. Like, okay, great. You know, let me sit back and cash those checks. That's easy. But that's not actually, you're not building anything that way. And then, you know, are you going to come back? You know, have I essentially burned that relationship at that point, and that streamer never wants anything to do with us again? That's really not where we want to go. You know, maybe once we've got this built out and we have a lot of data and we can make better decisions about what we think someone might want to see, that could be an option. But today, I don't see that happening.
No, I mean, it makes a lot of sense for sure.
You're walking a tough line there too, because like you can easily kind of invalidate everything by making it paid, you know?
Yeah,
because it takes it out of the people who, like, the whole point is you get honest, true opinions from, you know, people who are watching a stream, and it's not good or bad. You know, you get to kind of look at a spectrum of things. Like, no one goes to Twitch and says, I want to watch, you know, a terrible streamer or whatever, you know. They're like, I want to watch, you know, this, and this. And like you said, you know, when we talked at TwitchCon, you kind of enjoy when people get salty, you know?
Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
Right. So like that's something that's awesome to be able to be like, you know what? I'm in the kind of mood where I just want to see someone rage because it's hilarious. You know, yeah. You can do that. But yeah, I think the adding, like, you know, or me be saying, hey, I got $100. How long can you put me on the front page for it? You know, kind of eliminates the whole, essentially, like, core of it. Yeah, the whole yeah.
Because without a paid thing, it's more natural growth for the streamer, and it's more natural discoverability. Like, everything is just like it. I really like that concept because it just makes it easier for people to find you, and it makes it easier for like the viewer and the streamer. It's perfect. I wouldn't want anybody being able to pay and be featured, because that just kind of, like Sown said, it just takes away from it all for sure.
Yep.
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah. I thought he was just looking at us like very seriously.
Somebody meme this, please. Thank you. But yeah, I think it's a really good thing. So I guess while Green is gone, so when is this? As you said, this is in beta currently, right?
Yeah. So we're currently in beta. We are doing sort of like waves of invitations. So if anyone wants to get in and try it out, easiest thing to do is just hop over to the StreamKick site, so streamkick.com. We have an email field there. Drop in your email. That will automatically get you in the queue for the next wave of invites that go out.
Okay.
That's it. That's all you got to do. And then all we ask is that once you're in, so it's probably 40% of the way there at this point. So we're really looking to validate some of the stuff that we've got now, and then just get people's thoughts on, you know, how well those features kind of work with each other.
Okay.
So that would be my biggest ask, is that anyone who does come in and try it out, like just tell us. Like actually some of the feedback in chat here is like really, really helpful. But if you go in and try it out, just let us know, what you like, what you don't like. If you love it, you hate it, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like I'm really excited for this. I really want to like spread the word on it, because obviously it's one of those things where like you have to, it's like a word of mouth spreading. Like you just have to spread the word about it because it's not built in directly to Twitch.
Yeah.
Wow, we're losing everybody right now.
Yeah, they're dropping like flies.
Yeah, right.
It's just me and you now. We're in charge. What do you want to do? What do you want to talk about?
I'm the CEO now. Okay. But it's really cool, and I think it's one of those things where, like I was saying, I think my viewers are going to like it a lot, because any viewer who likes a streamer is most likely willing to help out, and like it's like like they all want to see whoever. Oh crap! Looks like it's just me. What's going on here? Oh no! What is going on, chat? It's just me now. I am the podcast. What's up? Welcome to the TRUgaming channel. This is Phone in Friday, where I sit here and it's just me asking myself questions, and I answer those questions. So first thing, Vel, how do you feel about today's podcast? I don't feel great, Vel. I don't feel great at all. I think I think we need more than one person here. I think it's very beneficial. I'd watch that. Lol. Oh my god. Velly's hype ran over the asking myself questions, and I answer those questions. I'm dying. What's up, Becca? How you doing? But yeah, so Vel, how are you doing today otherwise, even though this podcast is kind of like crashing and burning currently? Well, I'm doing pretty good. Just kind of waiting for everybody to get back here right now. I feel like the whole show is kind of on my shoulders right now. I'm a little nervous, kind of sweaty, and yeah, just ready for everybody to get back here. I'm not sure exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now. But yeah. Oh man, this part's gonna have to get cut out from the podcast chat. I think I'm the entertainment now. I'm just gonna switch this over to Fortnite. Should be cool. Dude, I honestly have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing right now, dude. Gringa, I am ready for January. I definitely am. Gotta give us a dunk, bro. It's not even set up right now, man. No dunks allowed, man. Office internet died. Oh my god. Oh no, dude, that's not good at all. Cracking under pressure. Okay, Becca, I'm not cracking under pressure. Okay, I'm sweating a little bit. It's a lot of pressure, but I'm good. Okay. With the StreamKick, tell us why you think it's a good thing. Dude, honestly, I really do like the idea of StreamKick, though, guys. It's so cool, because like Twitch does a lot of things, like we were saying earlier. They do a lot of things that make it, seem like it benefits viewers, but everything that they do, I feel like it benefits the streamer more than anything. And I don't understand doing things that primarily benefit the streamer as opposed to benefit the viewer, because without you guys, we're like, the streamer isn't anything. Like, I feel like they're going, it's easy to go and like make it easier for a streamer to get found or something, or to make a streamer stand out, because it's easy to focus on that, because through these channels is how Twitch makes money. But if they're not going for the actual source of the income, the viewer, you guys, then like it just makes so much more sense to do whatever it takes to make it easier for you guys as opposed to us. Like, we sit here and play video games in front of a camera, and they're trying to make it easier for us, but you guys are the ones that are trying to go out and find entertainment, and this is making that so much easier, and it's amazing. Would find it very hard to find people to watch without True or the Tavern. You mean like to find like quality streamers that you would enjoy? All right, let's see. It's all good, man. Green, I got this, bro. It's all me now. But yeah, I really do like the idea of StreamKick, guys. I think it's really cool, and it's one of those things where, like I was saying earlier, it's not built into Twitch, so it's going to take a while. But I think once people start getting the word out, it's going to keep rolling, because everybody on Twitch wants to see their streamer succeed, and every streamer wants to get reviewed. at least in my opinion, I want to get reviewed for sure. Like, did you register for StreamKick? I'm definitely going to, man. I haven't yet. Honestly, it just kind of slipped my mind until like the last couple of weeks, and like I just haven't gotten around to it. Yeah, I can answer some questions for sure. Like, who's good to watch without some sort of help? Exactly. Yeah, I in my opinion, I really want to get reviewed on Twitch. Whether it's good or bad, I want to see what people are saying about my channel. You know what I mean? If it's horrible, like, man, this guy sucks and needs to fix what he's doing, that's totally fine, because in my opinion, I would really like to know what I need to work on. Let's see. We need to look at some questions here. What do you want to see most from StreamKick? Honestly, I just want to see them stay true to what they're doing. Like, their mission is awesome. They're helping you guys find streamers that you enjoy, and that only benefits everybody. And like, it's just such a great idea. You know what I mean? So let's see some of these questions. What do you guys think about running some Facebook and IG ads with highlight videos to drive traffic to your channel? That's something that I've been wanting to do as a streamer anyway. Come January, when I have more free time, I'm going to be trying to make some advertisement videos. I think it's gonna be really cool. I would love some feedback on my stream. I am boring, exciting. Do I suck at games or make people feel pumped? Tell me. Yeah, exactly. Anything. Like, if I suck at streaming or anything, I really want to know. Having that feedback is crazy helpful, because I'm very critical of my streams and I think I just suck at everything. And getting actual feedback is great. Someone has to pull you out of the lobby. I don't even see a lobby or anything. See, this is interesting. Yeah, see, like, me not being like the hang on. All right, cool. All right, that's fine. Yeah, I think ads would be very cool. Anything you do to drive traffic to your channel. Like, I've had a YouTube video made by actually GreenChord, and what I did is I posted that in a Facebook like Twitch streamers group, and that got me quite a lot of views. Like, I didn't blow up by any means, but it was my first and really only video, but it did help out a lot. So I definitely recommend doing anything you can as far as like extra ways for people to find you. Erie Coolar says, what actually happens at TwitchCon? A pretty decent amount of things. So one of the things is it's just a really good place to go and find people that are you can go find companies to talk to. You can try to work with them, see if they're doing any sponsorship programs. It's really cool to meet face to face with those kinds of people. There's a lot of networking that you can do. Like, you don't go around just handing out your business card to everybody. You go and you make friends and you hang out with people, do whatever you can to just there's so many people there. Just go meet them and just blend in and mold with that mass of people who have the same interests as you. And that's really what TwitchCon is all about. Like, there's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of panels that you can learn from. Like I said in the previous stream key, it's kind of like a weekend of college, essentially, because there's classes that you can go to where you can learn, and there's a lot of partying going on. You know what I mean? And a lot of cool people to meet, and it's a really great experience. You're not going to see a lot of huge success from it, or really any. Like, it's going to help you out as a streamer. It's going to get you in the mood to stream more, and it's just going to make you feel like Twitch is like this growing mass of awesome people. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Is there a profile you can set up on StreamKick that will help your image as a content creator? Reviews are great, but all it takes is one troll to make your own stream look like it's something it's not. Yeah, I think we should save that one for Camper when he gets back. I'm not sure how to do that exactly. Green, if I need to be doing anything else, man, just DM me on Discord. I have my Discord open right now, so I can see any of that. Would a streamer be discoverable on StreamKick if they aren't currently streaming? Oh yeah, we already answered that one. Okay, cool. Let's see. I wanted to ask you all, what advice do you think could give to help someone with virtually crippling social? Oh, you are, yeah. What's up, man? Uh-oh, we got more people coming in. Hey, there we go. There we go.
Sweet.
Oh my god, I was panicking. I was like, I don't have much more to talk about.
You need to take a break? You need to
No,
walk away for a minute?
Yeah, I need some water.
Oh yeah, sorry about that, guys. Apparently we lost internet in the entire rally area for a minute there, so that's why Sown went down too. Yeah, that was crazy. But we're back now, so first time that's ever happened. Just kind of make it interesting, you know.
Hey, big ups to Veli for holding the show there, man. That was
Yeah.
I was like,
rapid
should I
fire.
restart? What do I do here? I'll just wait for somebody to tell me something.
Yeah. Pretty much.
We're actually not in the Discord right now. There's let me do the there's a different way that we're doing this right now, and it has to be a voice or a video call. But if you join this link, if you're able to do a video call, that's what we're doing right now. But I wanted to answer this question real quick.
You do that really quick.
Coolar says, I wanted to ask you all, what advice do you think you could give to help someone with virtually crippling social anxiety who is trying to become a consistent streamer? So I'm going to tell you that I used to not be a very expressive person. I used to not like people so much, or at least I thought I didn't, because like there's like basically my time in school wasn't good. I got bullied a lot, and so I didn't socialize. I didn't do well hanging out with other people. But there was like this part of me that wanted to create something and like just do something with my life aside from just work a third shift job at IHOP and hang out with my girlfriend during the day. So I started streaming, and it's really difficult at first, like putting yourself out there, especially if you have a camera, for someone who doesn't necessarily socialize with people or go out much or anything. But it gets easier over time. And the one thing that made it really easy for me to start being like a more outgoing and expressive and energetic person was I went to TwitchCon. And I went there with the idea that I wanted to make sure that it was worth it at the time, TRUgaming was taking me, so I wanted to make it worth it for them. But I really needed to make it worth it for myself as well, because you're going to such a crazy event. And like, if you go there and you don't talk to people, you wasted a weekend. You wasted a whole weekend. You wasted any money you spent while you were out there. But when you realize that so many people are out there that have the exact same interests and the exact same social awkwardness that you do, it makes it a lot easier. So just remember that you're not the only person that thinks that okay. So everybody thinks that they're weird in their own way, and it's not always the case. People will perceive you totally different than you perceive yourself. So just remember that. Keep streaming, keep going at it. It's an amazing thing to be doing. I'm really happy that you're trying streaming out. Try not to let it keep you from streaming.
I guess. Love it. And Gringa is actually here on the show. So we're in 3 seconds here or so. See if this works. Hello, Gringa, you there? By chance? Maybe. Maybe she just audio. I'm not sure, because I don't see a camera. Test out this new software, guys. It's a wild ride. Gringa, maybe?
She says she's here and talking.
Can you guys hear her?
I can't hear or see her.
I cannot hear or see her either.
It says angry Gringa, and then it just shows a white space.
All right, Gringa, we're going to move you out. Try to get that fixed if you can, and you come back on. Just let us know when you think you got it fixed. Make sure you
figure out how you fix it. Let everyone else know too.
I think you just have to give access to your browser. So look into that, see if you can find something.
Not gonna lie though, I really do like this new way of doing the video call.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of potential. If you guys don't know what we're using, it's something called blive.tv, and it's all browser operated, which is why magically when the stream dropped and we lost internet, Velok was still able to do stuff.
Saving the day again. What's up?
Yeah, really good for talk shows so far. So excited. All right, Gringa's back in the lobby. I don't know if I don't see her camera still, so I don't know if she can join yet. Let's see. Add her in the show in 3, 2, 1. Hello. Great. Oh, Sown's back too. Let me add Sown in here a sec. Maybe.
I don't see Gringa.
All right, Gringa's still not appearing. So let's pull up Sown here.
There's no Gringa, only Zool.
Welcome back, Sown.
Thank you.
Something I just realized, this seems like it may only limit you to having 4 people on the show at a time. So that I did not realize. That wouldn't explain why Green couldn't connect, but maybe we can't have callers today after all. Apologies for that, but we'll still take all the text questions you guys can throw at us, and if you try to connect, we'll figure something out. All right, in the meantime, let's circle back around now that we're all back here to some of the more questions. So one that was kind of unrelated that I do want to ask you guys to get your thoughts. So AOFibs asked and said, what do you guys think about running some Facebook and Instagram ads with highlight videos to drive traffic to your channel? And Belloc, I know you've thought about this before. Ricky and Sown, I don't know if you guys have thought through like paid advertising for Twitch streams before, but it's an interesting topic. Bell, have you actually ever tried it at all?
I've done a couple, but they weren't really anything worth actually doing an advertisement for. I kind of was just doing it as a test. Like I would do a picture and I would just run that as an ad. Basically, like it would just show up on people's feeds. That didn't really do anything just because it's a lame picture, but I plan on doing some videos in the future, probably in January when I have more time. Yeah, I plan on trying out ads for sure. I think it's a good idea to look into.
It depends on how much. Honestly, I mean, I'm kind of torn between it. I see on one hand how, you could definitely drive some, followers and viewers, but are they going to be quality people? That's the biggest thing in my mind is are you going to get quality people that are going to stay around? And, I mean, especially if Twitch is like a full-time job for you, like spending that money on that advertisement for someone who might stop by for a minute or whatnot, seems like it could go south pretty quickly.
It could, but at the same time, it's so cheap to run those ads. It's insane. Like you could do an ad for $2 if you wanted to, just to test it out to see
on what platform, like where
Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's incredibly cheap, and so you basically throw in $5 each time just to kind of figure out what you need to be who you need to be focusing your ads towards.
Yeah.
And then when you start to figure it out, you start putting in a little bit more money and see like what the growth is from that. And it's a really cool thing to use if you want to try to run ads, just because it is so cheap and it's so in depth with the people that you can reach.
Yeah, we did a couple back when Doc was still with us for the channel. And what's nice about them is you can see a lot of the data behind it. So you can see exactly how many people are coming through and clicking to your stream. I don't know if you can see how long they stay, but I agree they're definitely very cheap. I think the best way to use them, you really have to make content design for them.
Yeah,
you can't really just kind of repurpose what you already have. But I would say it's a great way to just get more eyes on your stream if you can afford it. For sure. I don't think it's gonna save your channel. Like you can't bank on that to grow, but it's a nice boost if you're already doing something right.
I think like the first thing before even looking at ads, I think the first thing that you need to do if you're streaming with social media is just get the social media game down first, because most of what I see on social media is, hey, I'm live, which I mean that doesn't do anything for anybody, right? Like only your people are going to see that, and you can hashtag it all you want, but again, that's not, you have to give people a reason to stop whatever it is that they're doing and then go and watch your channel or bookmark that or whatever they do to go and watch you later. Because you got to think too, most social consumption is done on a phone, and most of it's done during the day when you're supposed to be doing something else, right? So you're like, maybe you're driving, hopefully not like driving, but like you're stopped at a light, or you're at, Chipotle and you're ordering a burrito and it's not your turn yet. So you're on your phone. People aren't going to be like, oh, Belly, this guy I don't know is live on Twitch. Let me get out of line, put my burrito on hold, please. And let me see what this cool Twitch streamer is all about. Like that, it doesn't work that way. So like before I would even spend any money on it, I would try and figure that piece out first. One thing that I've found through other streamer folks that I know is that doing clips on Instagram and then just hashtagging the hell out of those clips has actually helped them a lot, like has brought in viewers who have followed, who have subbed, who have donated, and it's helped grow their viewership. And they were consistent with it. They did it every day. They did it multiple times a day, and they were just really good about staying on top of it. And with Instagram, unlike Facebook and Twitter, you can put as many hashtags in as you want, and that's okay. It's not like a platform, misuse or anything like that. So just hashtag the hell out of it and see what happens. on Instagram. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, I think that's definitely big. I've seen a lot of similar accounts, like what you said, where that's really worked with just spamming those clips, especially if they're designed for Instagram too. But I think you could also boost those posts, and that's essentially just getting more eyes on them anyway. So
it's like the Facebook target advertisement.
Yeah, it's the same exact system for Instagram. They have the same manager.
Mm-hmm.
So the cool thing about boosting is that you can do it for free first and just see if people like it, and if it's working, then boost it. Then you'll get more life out of it. So you actually try it out first and see.
Yeah, it's a good way to kind of check your content and see if it'll have potential for a good boost. I agree with that. Great question overall. Definitely try it out. There's also other things, like I've seen some people do it on Reddit occasionally, and then there's a few other places, like we talked about Binks and Twinge and some of those other ways you can pay to get your stream advertised a bit more. It's you'll probably get some viewers from it, but like Sown said, the question is whether they're all going to stick around and be part of your community or just click in and leave. You still have to have good content at the end of the day.
Yep.
So
I think like it's at the very least it will bring people to your channel, you know, and then maybe the quality people will stay. You know, I guess it's a good way in that sense. But just to me, anytime you're paying for advertisement stuff, I don't know, it just seems like murky water.
Yeah, I think there's a way you can do it right, but you definitely have to think carefully about it.
There is, yeah. It's like, to me, it seems like, no offense, man. I know, like you're the advertising guy. I love you to death. But like when it comes to like individual small people, I feel like because they're making money. You know what I'm saying? So like you got to be careful like where the line is of going beyond to where you're just funding them and hurting yourself. Yeah,
that's a good point. All right, I want to give Angry Gringa a chance to have her question answered because she tried to get in the call like 3 times. So she said, one of my questions was, will StreamKick have aggregate data for streamers to reference to see what trends are? So basically, can they see trends in their channel? It's a pretty interesting question.
Yeah, so we are going to have analytics. So you'll be able to see data over time. And I know, Green, this was something that you were really big on at TwitchCon. We talked about this, and you had some really good feedback on this, by the way. It's this stuff we're actually working on. So there will be some analytics. We're going to experiment with some predictive analytics as well. So we want to be able to tell you based on viewer sentiment what games you might want to stream, not necessarily based on the viewership or the community size for those games per se, but based on what the viewers that like you also like, to give you the option to expand your streaming repertoire a little bit. Because I think a really big contributor to burnout in this industry is getting pigeonholed into a single game and having to stream that same game for years on end. Like, I don't know. I mean, I play a lot of video games, and I think back on all the games that I played, and even the ones that I loved the most, I couldn't play for more than a couple of years. And it was like, all right, I got to move on to a new thing. So add streaming on top of that, and that's a lot. So I think you have to have some of that variety. And I think the streamers who are starting out nowadays, they've seen that and they've learned that lesson from kind of the pioneers who did it the hard way. And they're saying, oh, okay, you know, I probably need to start out as a variety streamer and mix up my games a little bit rather than just be known as like, you know, this incredible, you know, League of Legends streamer or something along those lines. So I think our data can help with that.
Yeah, that kind of data is cool. In terms of the variety stuff versus single game with growth, that's a whole discussion of its own, I would say. But I definitely think the idea of suggesting either games to play or maybe people to collaborate with, that's a really cool idea with the platform. And I'm just a huge data nerd in general for that kind of stuff because you can't argue with science. So, but good question, Gringa. I'm glad to hear that they will have some of that stuff at launch to play around with. All right, we have another question from, all right, well, Susie had a couple questions. I'll give her most recent one first. She said, are there any features geared toward the creative side of content creation? Which you kind of touched on a little bit, Ricky, but how about creative kind of stuff?
Yeah, you know, TwitchCon actually, one of my big focuses at TwitchCon was connecting with the creative community better. The community meetup that we did here in Orlando a few months back really opened our eyes to that, and we realized that creative is just such a different thing that our approach to how we're handling, feedback and everything on StreamKick is really geared around towards gaming streamers. And once you start applying some of that, some of our model to creative, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I think what we're leaning towards at the moment, and again, this is still early stage stuff. So this is the kind of feedback we need. So like you guys going in and trying it and telling us these things is really helpful. What we're thinking is that we're probably going to end up breaking creative out and making it its own separate like instance of StreamKick. So it'll still all be part of StreamKick, but you'll actually be able to say, I want gaming or non-gaming content, and we'll just make that filter for you at the top and then kind of let you move through that funnel however you want to get down to the content that you want to see. Beyond that, Susie, I wish I could tell you more that we're going to do, but that's part of our follow-up from TwitchCon. I literally spent all day Saturday and half the day Sunday going booth by booth in Artist Alley and meeting and talking to every single creative streamer that was there. Which, by the way, if anyone's thinking about going to TwitchCon, EU or US or whatever, spend time in Artist Alley. It is hands down probably the coolest thing they have at TwitchCon. I met some of the most amazing people there, and I had a blast in Artist Alley. It's really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff there, and a lot of people doing crazy things there, like tattoos and it's pretty cool.
There was a girl there who does taxidermy. Did you know that was a thing on Twitch?
What?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah, she does.
That?
Yeah, you can stream it.
How is
yeah.
PETA not all over that?
You can do that, but you can't lip sync.
I know, right? Lip sync is right out, but we can like disembowel animals.
Well, so I asked her that. I don't know how she sources her carcasses, but they come pre-gutted. So she's literally just doing she builds the model for it. And then
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she whatever. Anyway, I'll send you guys her info. I haven't watched it yet, but I think that'd be pretty cool.
Oh my god!
All right. Well, there's all sorts of stuff on Twitch these days.
I mean, but that's what's great about Twitch, and I love like explaining Twitch to people who've never like heard of it before. Mm-hmm. Like my parents are like a lot older. My dad's almost 90. So like explaining things like Twitch to people like that, it's like there's everything. Like pick something in your mind that you think someone would want someone else to see, and there's probably someone doing it.
Or someone will be doing it soon, knowing Twitch.
Yeah, or someone will be doing it soon. Or someone is right now figuring out how to do that.
Yep, absolutely. I love it too. All right, we're running through most of the questions here, so if you guys want to join the show or ask a question, great time to do so. I saw one more from Gringa who basically said she's just curious how many people are on this product for StreamKick.
Yeah, there's a team of 4 right now, so it's myself and 3 others for those that are mathematically challenged. Yeah, so we're plugging away. But like I said before, I sound like a broken record, but feedback, that's what we need. Just try it. Tell us what you think.
Oh, yeah. All about getting out there and see what happens. Sown is struggling over there with the camera.
I'm having a crisis. No one just ignore me.
I really appreciate that you guys invited me on this edition of the podcast, by the way.
It's going great, isn't it?
New software, broken internet in our entire city. Someone's never been on here before, and he's just
we just saw all of him.
Yeah, just having a blast.
I mean, real talk, every episode is like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
With this many things going on, it can never be perfect. And that's the beauty of Twitch. So
when we finally get our studio built, it will be smooth.
Oh yeah. Can't wait for that.
Yes.
This is Mean Key. That's right. Angry Gringa. That's right. All right. Well, I think we've actually gotten through all the questions as far as I saw. If you guys did ask a question and we missed it, please don't be afraid to spam and ask it again, because the chat's been moving and we lost internet and questions, I'm sure, disappeared. So if you missed something we missed something that you asked, please ask it again. Okay, so here's a good question I just found from Erie Kuehler. I don't know how to say that name, but something like that. She says, what advice do you think you could give to help someone with virtually crippling social anxiety who's trying to become a consistent streamer? Belle, did you address that one while we were offline? Okay, gotcha. I didn't see that one because we lost the internet there. But I'm curious to hear if, Sown and Ricky, if you guys have thoughts about this, since Belle talked about it a little bit already.
Where is the question?
It's way up there in the chat. It's basically, I'll copy paste it. But what kind of advice would you give to someone with crippling social anxiety who's trying to become a consistent streamer despite dealing with that?
That's a tough question. I think that when you are dealing with people who are, introverts or people who are, extremely anxious in social situations, everyone kind of handles things differently. Some people, some people have medication. Some people have like just tools that they use, closing their eyes, count, whatever it is. So I think that's really going to be individualized. But if I were to generalize it, I would say it's tough. I mean, it's something that you would have to really dig down deep inside yourself and figure out, number one, are you going to be able to do this? Which I would hope the answer would be yes. And then number two, you just start with a schedule, whatever it is, and just stick to it and try and stick with the routine. You know what I'm saying? And let that routine be your kind of inspiration or your like leaning post, if you will. Mm-hmm. And then kind of adjust your schedule and maybe build more. That's my best.
I gotcha.
Advice,
over time, I think it's pretty. I think we can agree that stuff with streaming gets easier the more you do it. Mm-hmm. Whether it's the first time you start streaming and you're terrified to be on camera, eventually you get used to that, or you hate the sound of your own voice at first, and then you don't mind it as much, and it all comes with making yourself do it again and again until it's just a habit.
There's something that kind of like in my mind, if you think about it like this, if you're streaming, yes, people are looking at you, but you're not looking at people, so you may, stepping into a room on a stage in front of 100 or 1,000 people, that in and of itself, just looking at those people instantly, will put someone into a trance or tunnel vision. But, having, just knowing that there's a camera and that there's other people there, maybe try and think of it a little bit more like that, because you're not really, yes, you're in a social environment, but you're in control of it,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. And it was really weird with this stream when, we were in the middle of the last conversation and the whole thing just dropped. And that was a really weird feeling with everyone watching the show. And then suddenly no one was, but nothing really changed. I was still sitting here in front of a computer. So if you think about it, like it's the same thing at the end of the day, whether you have 100 or 0 people watching you, you're still sitting at a computer just playing a game. So I can help, I think, a little bit. Ricky, do you have anything you want to add to this before we move on to the next question?
Just a little. I think this is always a tough area because nobody really knows how you feel but you. Mm-hmm. So giving advice on something like this is, people can only kind of tell you what's worked for them, and you have to kind of figure out, try different things and see what works for you. I will say this though, that the biggest thing though that I feel is that as it relates to streaming, like there's no rush. You don't no one's grading you. You don't have to, when it's all said and done, no one's going to look back at you and be like, you know what, that person was a terrible streamer. And that's going to be their opinion of you. That it doesn't work that way. So just try it, give it time, get used to it, make mistakes. That's the best way to learn is just, screw up and get comfortable with it. And if you do it for however long you feel like you need to do it, and in the end, you don't feel comfortable doing it, you tried. And that's more than millions of people can even say that they've done. So at least you tried.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. It's very subjective. That's one of the greatest things about streaming too. It's definitely a very independent journey.
Yeah. And do it for you. Do it for you. Who cares? Who cares what anyone else thinks? Just do it. Just do it and have fun.
People are definitely, people are always going to have an opinion. Everyone's going to have an opinion. It's built in, but make sure that your opinion of yourself trumps other people's opinion.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, cool. Great question. I hope that helped you with that issue, and please feel free to keep asking about it if you need more help. All right, so that I think is all the questions I've seen so far. So we're wide open for questions now, guys. If you want to ask something, I saw something I want to talk about up in somewhere. Oh, so one thing that we missed with since we weren't on last week is actually we forgot to mention that anonymous sub gifting launched, which I think was last week. So, you know, Bell, Sown, I don't know if you guys have had anyone do anonymous sub gifting or if you've seen it around, Ricky as well. It's kind of cool they're doing that and just giving people ways to do that anonymously. But I don't know if you guys have just initial thoughts on rolling out that feature. Maybe start with Bell on this one.
I think it's cool because like maybe somebody that's like lurking wants to support or something like that, but doesn't want to be called out. I think it's a really good thing for them because like you can donate anonymously. I don't think it happens too much or anything, but having that option there, I think is what matters.
Yeah, just giving people the choice of doing that. I think it makes sense too.
Yeah, one of I think that kind of is perfect for like that introvert that we were talking about earlier, you know, that person that really doesn't want the attention, that just wants to support. You know, I think that's nice for that. I have someone in my stream, I won't name names, but they're not really a very you know, out talking all the time like person, you know what I'm saying? But they enjoy watching, you know, and that's fine. And some people don't want to be called out, some people don't want that attention. So, you know, it's nice that they can kind of do that in their comfort zone.
Yeah, just giving people more ways to express that too, besides donating, which is pretty cool. Ricky, any thoughts on this?
I think it's good. I mean, anytime you open up more ways for people to be comfortable helping monetize or helping streamers monetize their channels, I think that's really good. That's kind of like one of those consistent questions that you see online a lot is, hey, I'm a viewer, how do I help? Or streamers will say, here's ways you can help me aside from, you know, paying me, here's things that you can do. So, you know, even if it is a paid method for helping, you know, just having more stuff available, it's all optional. I think it's good.
Yeah, just I agree with that. Just more options. In general, I think that Twitch has done a good job of that recently, with just more ways to do things, whether you want to sub at a different tier, bulk gift subs, do it anonymously. You can donate bits now. There's lots of just ways to do what you want to in terms of support and interact with the channels. So I like that a lot. Belly, by the way, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate that.
Hey, that guy. I know that guy.
That timing.
CrowdQuest TV says, I may have missed a response on it. Any thoughts on integrating StreamKick review process through a Twitch extension, which I think is also a great idea.
Yeah, we purposely didn't do extensions, and I'm kind of not a big fan of extensions personally. So I tend to look at things first from a viewer standpoint. Extensions are really annoying. And I've talked to a lot of streamers who kind of feel the same way. That's not to say I think all extensions are bad. I think there's definitely some that are really good. It's just, I think that, first of all, as a streamer, how many extensions are you ever going to use? Right? Because there has to be some way that people know that extension exists. And by the way, if anyone's figured out how to get rid of the Twitch Prime extension, please tell me, because I tell it not to come up on every stream and it just keeps coming up every single time.
The problem with that is it's per channel. So I don't think you can do it blanket across the platform.
It does it on the same channel though.
Oh, really?
Every time. Same browser, same computer. So anyway, I haven't had a wonderful experience with extensions, but I do think there's value in them. So short answer to the question is, we don't have any plans to do extensions yet, but it could change just depending on how I personally feel about extensions and how the community chooses to embrace them or not.
Gotcha. Yeah, I will agree that there are some really bad extensions out there, and they can definitely be annoying when they're used poorly by streamers. I think there are some good ones out there as well. It's just a matter of finding them and finding what works with your channel and using something that's not so in your face and obnoxious versus something that, like, I think panels, there are a lot of good panel extensions where you can still interact and do things in the panels that aren't blocking the stream or in your face all the time.
And the panel extensions are pretty cool. I do like that. I think that's a great idea. But having stuff that comes up in the video player, I feel like that's a little, I don't know. It's just, you know, who am I? I'm one guy that watches streams. What's my opinion matter? But I just don't like them.
Totally fair. I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add real quick. Twitch and Amazon just announced a extension development contest the other day. It's I forget the exact details on it, but basically you develop a Twitch extension and it has to be deployed to AWS. And if you do that, there's like 4 criteria that you meet, and the winner gets like 15 grand or something from Twitch and Amazon. So
That's
for
pretty cool.
all of you aspiring extension developers in chat right now, 15 grand out there with your name on it.
There you go. Get on that, guys.
Just have it block the whole video too. Like,
Yeah.
make it really convenient. And
Yeah, that's my extension. It's just a black screen that just covers the video. And every time you go to click it, the little X moves. It's interaction.
That's all it is. Okay, so a question from Millennium. He said, can/is try hard an option on the skill range with Salt God? So how seriously you take games, I guess.
That's a good question. Try hard is in one of our attributes. It's not in sportsmanship. It's in skill. There is a try hard skill rating. So yeah, we tried to integrate memes and emotes as much as we could into that, just to make it kind of fun and more interesting. So it's funny that someone actually who hasn't seen it yet figured that out. But yeah, it's in there.
Nice. There you go. All right. Well, I want to ask you guys really quickly if, because Twitch has a habit of launching news all over the place, whether it's on Twitter or a Trello board or their support page or a Discord or wherever. So I often miss things that happen. Did you guys see anything that happened over the past, 2 weeks that we didn't talk about yet on Twitch, or maybe something cool that you found, like an extension or a tool or something interesting you want to talk about?
I haven't seen anything.
Nothing. No interesting things out there.
Nothing at all.
Gotcha. About Ricky or Sown, you guys, anything you want to talk about by chance? Just give you an option.
No, nothing specific.
I'm
Nothing
actually
that's-
looking. We do a weekly roundup of streaming news on our site, and I'm just kind of see if there's anything that was popping in the last couple weeks.
Gotcha.
Oh, did you talk about Twitch killing off their game purchase program? Did you guys talk about that already?
No, we did not. When did that happen?
So that was 2 weeks ago. They said that. It actually ended on the 27th. So what, 3 days ago? So it's over.
Okay. Is
You
that
can't
the
purchase?
system? Sorry, go ahead.
What's that?
Is that the system where you could buy the game someone's playing and they got a cut of it or
Yes.
something? Okay.
Yeah. They said they're not doing that anymore. It's gone. They said it didn't provide most streamers with significant additional revenue.
Yeah, I didn't know anyone who ever bought a game through Twitch myself, so I'm not surprised with that one.
Yeah.
But pretty interesting.
There's my contribution.
I appreciate that. I do. Okay, so Mima has a question. She says, "Are stream titles part of the search engine? I am horrid with titles." So are titles factored at all into StreamKick searching?
No, you can't search by title. The title thing. So Twitch already has that, right? That's one thing we didn't want to do, is we didn't want to replicate everything that Twitch had, because then what's the point? Yeah, we don't the stream and don't feel bad about being bad at that, because I don't know anyone that actually looks at those and makes a decision based on stream titles, short of exclamation point giveaway, which I know everybody's got their opinions about that, but I don't think the title matters.
Yeah, I actually want to break that down a little bit. So Sown and Billock, what do you guys think about titles? How do you use your titles? Do you ever try to make them something people want to click on, or you just use them for memes? What's the situation?
I've used them for memes before. Sometimes, I mean, honestly, when it comes down to scrolling that far down, a title isn't going to be the thing that separates you enough to make them want to click on you, I don't think. So honestly, for me, I just keep it consistent. Like if I'm doing a morning stream, which is all I have time to do right now, I just do coffee stream. I kind of want it to be like, this is what you can expect today. Like this is a normal coffee stream. And if anything happens to change, then I'll update the title accordingly, basically.
Yeah, I've noticed that you kind of keep your title consistent across a lot of streams.
Yeah.
Don't update it. That's pretty interesting. So you use that as people know what to expect.
Yeah, pretty much.
Makes sense. So, what's your strategy for your titles?
I just use kind of a generic every day of the week, whatever I do. So I'll do Monday Fun Day, and then if something special is going on, or Taco Tuesday, my big thing on Tuesday is Taco Tuesday minus tacos plus fun, or whatever it is, then Wednesday I'll make something up. But I always incorporate the name of the day, so I just kind of bounce around between that. But to me, it's just like a little fun thing. Like maybe if someone's bouncing around and they see it and they're like, oh, okay, this guy's got some wit, or there's a little comedy there. Maybe he's funny.
Yeah, I definitely get that. Using it for memes, I think, is probably how most people use it at this point. I know that a lot of people, when they're starting streaming, or people in the past, I guess, used to use it a lot for searching, but we've all kind of realized that most of the time people aren't really choosing streams based on the title, and probably I would say 90% of the time they're not. Sometimes you can. With this podcast in particular, I actually did use the title a little bit to try and make it interesting to click on, but for my own stream, whenever I stream, it's just memes 100% of the time. So, but titles, it's cool to talk about in terms of people using them differently, I think, because there's not a right or wrong way to use it.
I don't think it's an effective search category, though.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of where we landed with it. I think with creative streams, I've actually found that the titles are helpful. I've also found that creative streamers tend to put more effort into their titles and actually make them informational. So I don't know if that's a chicken and egg kind of thing. I feel like
that's a good point. Yeah.
I feel like it's because they have to, and that just makes it more useful. But I mean, there's other streamers who just play games and stuff, and literally their title is just the word memes. Like it's not even it's not even memes anymore. It's just the word. So yeah, I think that kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, in some categories, when you don't have a certain way to, like, the tagging system is really good on Twitch, but it doesn't cover everything. So in some spaces like creative, or I would even argue in podcasting, you can get a little bit more specific with your title for people who might happen to see that. Of course, you can't really filter by that stuff you put in the title, but it can help you define your content a little bit more if you need that. I would say most content, there's enough stuff in the tagging system or just the directory that you have all the categorization that you need in there. But anyway,
Agreed.
Good talk. All right, so Dunyan says, is there perhaps an education section / category? I usually do explain weapons and tactics in games I play. How would this fit in? So yeah, education and section, I guess, in StreamKick.
That's a good question. I could see that being like a tag or something like that. Category wise, I don't know that would be a good fit as a category, but as a way to kind of tag yourself as like an educational streamer, that's actually interesting, because one of the very first streamers I ever watched on Twitch before I even knew that it was a thing was a League of Legends streamer, and I found them because I was looking for help to get better at the game, because I was like some like bronze 3 terrible 80 carry. So it was because of like looking for educational content that I even discovered Twitch in the first place. So that's actually a really really interesting idea. So thanks for that, Dunyan. Call that the Dunyan tag in your honor.
The certified Dunyan tag. Yeah, it makes sense. I think there are definitely a lot of streamers who educate their viewers a lot, whether they're very good at a game or they just know a lot about it. So I think it's worth including some sort of category for that.
Yeah.
Good suggestion, Dunyan. He's writing notes on it right now, I'm pretty sure. All righty. I think that's all the questions again. Keep the questions coming, my friends. All right, so one thing I want to talk about in sort of like the reserve topics is the idea of how to grow your stream when you can't be streaming, or your community in a sense. So streaming is something that takes up a lot of time for a lot of people, but for some people, they can't really be streaming 4 or 5 hours a day because of jobs, because of life, whatever. So I want to get some thoughts from you guys in terms of how can you keep growing your community and your brand when you can't be streaming. I'll kick this off to Belly, my man, first.
How to grow your community when you can't be streaming?
Mm-hmm.
Interacting with them in Discord or any sort of social media is the best way to do it. I always like to say, like, people who want to watch your streams, they're there because of you, and the more you that they can get, the better. So whether that's posting pictures from like real life things that are going on around you, like even if it's something stupid, like just me and my dog, like take a stupid selfie and send it to your people, and just anything you can do to connect with your viewers more is all you can ever, like, that's the bare minimum that you should be doing, is trying to connect with them some way.
Gotcha. How about, so for you specifically, when you're not live, but you want to do something to build your brand or interact with the community, what's your go-to?
Just chatting in Discord, asking them how their day is going. Sometimes I'll do like a question of the day where I'll ask something super stupid, like, would you rather have a regular sized miniature horse or a mini sized regular horse? And then, you know, something like really stupid that's just like, what is going on right now? And then it's just kind of like it's a meme at first, and like it takes a while for people to answer, but then people start giving their opinions on it, and then it just starts to get more people involved.
That's pretty
I
good.
have asked that question before.
I'm sure you got some good discussion around.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So Sown, how about you? What kind of tips do you have for people wanting to still grow and build a community and brand when they can't be live? Oh, we lost your mic there. There you go.
Appreciate it. Sorry. Yeah, no, I think that you know, nowadays with social media surrounding everything and people constantly on their phones and constantly checking, you know, there's people who just sit there and like check their Twitter feed, you know. So like Veli said, at the bare minimum, Discord, you know, posting stuff on other social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, you know, on Instagram if you have it. Even I remember Veli, I don't know if you still use Snapchat, but I know Veli used that a lot, which was really cool because, you know, kind of mixing in like your real life friends with like, you know, your people who you're interacting with on your stream and stuff. It kind of is just like fluid. It kind of brings everything together. So that was really, really cool, Veli, by the way, side note. But yeah, so like definitely interacting on social media is probably the best thing to do because, you know, there's only one person that's going to sell you, and that's you. So if you're not doing that at the end of the day, you know, what are you doing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like Ricky was saying earlier, people just doing stuff on their phones they're not supposed to be. So finding ways to do that on social media, people will see that probably.
And I mean, it's you know, any person who streams to Twitch is a creator of some sort. They're creating, you know, content. They're creating all sorts of stuff. So like that's just yet another way to be creative, you know. And people find new ways to use social media every day. So you know, that's it. That should be like, you know, a perpetual goal. Like it should just constantly be something that you're working on, you know, social media stuff, you know, just like you are your Twitch channel.
Right. Absolutely agree. Ricky, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really like this idea of access, and I really think from a streamer to viewer standpoint, I think something that can help you grow your community and also get your community more engaged just with you and with your content is being able to give them some degree of access into your life. Now, obviously, everyone has varying degrees of comfort with doing something like that, and your comfort level may be you get my access on Twitch and nothing else, and the rest may be like, hey, I'm just going to stream my life and everything that happens. You know, we can all probably name 3 or 4 or 5 or more streamers that fit into each of those 2 categories. But I think that's a really important concept that every streamer needs to think through is like, how much access do I want to give to my audience? And whatever level of access you want to provide, just go all in on that thing and then see what happens, you know, measure that just like with anything else and see if that helps you reach whatever your goal is, whether it's bringing more people in or fostering better engagement with the people that you have. But I think that's a big thing that gets overlooked by a lot of people. And it just goes back to what we were saying before about social, where a lot of social sharing is just kind of like, check the box, I'm live, have a good day, guys. And that's it.
Yeah.
It's gotta be deeper than that.
Yeah, I mean, that's so true because streaming in itself is sort of just having access to that streamer and connecting with that person. So reinforcing that offline with other ways to interact with that person and, you know, maybe using it as sub rewards or something, or just giving more access is kind of giving people more of what they want at the end of the day if you're making good content. I know Veli. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I just know Veli used to do, you know, the Snapchat type thing, and that I think is similar to what you're saying here, where you're just giving more access to more of your life through when you're not live.
Yeah, that's all it is. Access just in the sense that, like, you know, hey, we just adopted a dog. Here's the picture of the dog. Like, here's the name. You know, just things like that. Just let them know what you're up to. And again, you only have to share as much as you're comfortable sharing. But that's, you know, a big piece of streaming, and what makes it so fun and why it's such a great form of entertainment is that you you're actually able to connect with that person. It's like accessible entertainment. You know, if you go and watch a movie, you know, you can't just, you know, call up Robert Downey Jr. and say like, hey man, you nailed it as Iron Man. Good work. You should do more of these movies. Can't do that. But, you know, you drop into Veli's stream and he's crushing it on Fortnite. He's just getting 20 bombs left and right and just winning constantly. You can just be like, hey, Veli, you're doing a great job. And he can see that and acknowledge that. You know, there's a connectivity there that can go beyond the stream, again, to your, you know, whatever your comfort level is. But you can exploit that in a very good way and have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Definitely a lot of opportunities there.
Timster just asked a question about.
Yeah, we got about 10 minutes left here, so we're gonna try to wrap it up pretty soon. But Timster did ask, how do you go about social media marketing effectively?
Don't
kind of related to this question. Don't overdo it, you said?
Don't overdo it.
Interesting. Why do you say that?
Well, okay. I'm one of those people who does not want like 1,800 like spam messages. You know, like every time I open my email, I get maybe like 2 or 3 of the same company's email addresses a day. It's obnoxious. Like things like that get obnoxious. Like I don't want to see 5 updates of, you know, I just went to the gym and had, you know, this. Now I'm having a smoothie. Now here's my after gym snack. Like I don't want all these notifications from you. Like if you want my interest, it should be less is more. Like give me an update, maybe 2 a day, you know, but we don't need like a play-by-play. That's just my personal opinion. But it is very easy to overdo it and kind of turn people off.
So quality over quantity, in your opinion.
Definitely quality. Quality is always better over quantity.
So you don't want to hear about when I clean out my refrigerator. Hashtag.
I'm not talking about you, Veli. I just want a camera to follow you around all day, and I'll watch that.
Let's go.
Well, actually,
like Ed TV, or whatever that movie was back in the day.
Like you say that sarcastically, but I think there's actually some value there in terms of like if you think of people that you really, really look up to, like I don't know, pick someone that you like to follow, like Elon Musk or something, or whoever. If you follow someone that you're really interested in, maybe you're actually more okay with getting more constant updates from that person because they're just more interesting to you.
Let me be like completely blunt and honest. I do not. There's no one that I'm like, I want to know what's going on. I want to know what they're doing. Like I want none of that. It's just too much for me.
That's fair. It's fair.
You know.
Gotcha.
But I was joking about Ed TV earlier, but you know, in a way, that's the name of the movie, right? With Matthew McConaughey, Ed TV, where he basically signs up for this like TV show and they follow him around with cameras 24/7. You never seen that?
Oh, I thought it was Jim Carrey. Maybe I'm thinking of
no, that's the Truman Show.
That's the Truman Show. Same kind of concept, but in any event,
I believe you.
Okay. Well, anyway, for anyone who's seen the movie, basically he signs up for this because it's like he's going to make a lot of money, and then it turns his life to crap because he has no privacy. Well, you know, nowadays that's kind of like now we're like doing that to ourselves. We're volunteering that on ourselves. So, you know, I mean, I think that there's like a balance of like how can you have a personal life, you know what I'm saying, if you're constantly updating your social media all the time, or you're constantly like being bothered by other people updating their stuff all the time. I think that there's a healthy area in there where you can say, you know, I'm going to do a post twice a day, or I'm going to do this or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I think there's a lot of pressure to post really frequently, but that doesn't mean you necessarily have to, and you might feel worse if you give into that. So
I mean, I don't know. To me, if you do that, you're sacrificing so much quality.
Yeah, and it's also like how sustainable is that long term? You know, maybe you can
you're going to get burnt out. Like it's insane.
That's fair. Veli, what's your kind of stance on this for social media marketing in general?
Like Susie and Sown have said, like quality over quantity. Like Susie was mentioning, stay relevant for sure. Like I don't know. It's also a really tricky thing because everybody's going to have different stuff that they want for sure. So just whatever you do, make sure that it makes sense to you. Like don't be doing posts just because you see other people doing the same post. Like it might not make sense. It's the same as streaming. Just share part of your life if you feel comfortable doing so, and just try to keep your people updated.
Right. Yeah, it's a balance, in all honesty, because you can't just not engage people, but you also don't want to feel at the point where you're obligated to post and do these things that you don't want to be doing at the end of the day, and then you burn out, like Sown said. Ricky, do you have any feelings on this topic as well?
Yeah, I mean, part of social media marketing isn't just you posting things to your account. Another big piece of it, especially in streaming, Twitter is huge. Like it's, I mean, it's Twitter's big in any entertainment industry, but in streaming, it's just like kind of the lifeblood in terms of social media. So, find people that you like, use hashtags, look for discussions that are happening, and then just join the discussion. And don't try to obviously don't come in and just spam your channel. That's not marketing. That's the opposite of that. But if there's a conversation happening and you have something you can add to it, contribute somehow, then go in and contribute. This is hard because it takes time. Like anything that takes time is hard. People just instinctively don't want to do that. But it is the thing that you need to do. You have to get on there. You have to spend the time, go through the DM, or not the DM.
Yeah.
Get the DMs.
Go through your DM.
Yeah. Go through the hashtags, that type of stuff, and just contribute. Just be part of the conversation. And it will work. But it could take, months, years, but you have to put in the time if you expect to get anything out of social media.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And it's kind of deceptively simple, I think. Like a lot of people feel like, I think it's the same way with Twitch, actually. People feel like it's so easy to do. They can just hop on and do it. And then after you really get into the depths of it and realize the strategy behind it and how complex all that stuff is, there's a lot to learn. And like you said, people kind of get daunted by that and just keep doing what works sort of well for them instead of learning how to actually get the most out of it. So that's a good point, I would say. We are kind of running out of time here. We have one more question here from Diebear. Said, I have more and more people popping in wanting to play with me, like new people. I play with a set team. Thoughts? So I'm going to throw this one to Veli first, because I know he gets a lot of people who want to come in and join, who have never seen a stream before. It's the same thing.
Yeah, so I always tell them, because every once in a while you get that new viewer who comes in wanting to play, and then they talk the whole time. And I understand you want to chit chat and stuff. That's cool, but for me, for streaming, it doesn't work out. So I like to gauge how people act in the chat first. So I'm like, I don't play with new viewers. I usually give it a day or two, just to see what you're like as a person. It's kind of like a screening process for me. I'm sorry. And usually what happens is you'll never see that person again. But in the long run, it helps out because you're protecting your content. And if you're someone who doesn't like to, if you play with a set group of people, then that's your thing. You obviously, if you play with people, you're going to have a lot more viewers come in that want to, if you're rotating through viewers, you're going to have a lot more people just waiting in your channel. But that's not necessarily the best thing to do just for the sake of having an extra viewer there waiting. If you want your content to be you just playing with the same group of people, then just do that and just say, I'm sorry, but that's not what we do here. Nothing against you at all or them. It's just that's the way it is.
Yep. I mean, we talk about that a lot on the show in terms of sometimes you have to make that short-term hard decision to make the long-term better, in terms of maybe you have a bad viewer who is kind of trolly, but you don't want to ban him because then you're losing a viewer. But in reality, you're losing more viewers in the long run because they see that person in there. Same thing, in the short term, you could just play with viewers because on paper, it gives you more viewers to come into the channel. But then, a month later, you're not going anywhere because you're getting sick of playing with these people and they're turning away other viewers. So don't be afraid to say no, like people in chat are saying if you need to. I agree with that. So do you play with viewers at all in your channel?
Yeah, so what I was going to say is kind of along the same lines of what you were saying. Number one, just be straight up. If that's not what you're doing, then just say that, because then you're gonna create this snowball effect of, oh well, yeah, maybe in a little bit, and then okay, now a little bit's up. Oh, can we do it now? Just be straight up, no or whatnot. What I do, I play with viewers quite often, actually. Whenever I'm playing Call of Duty at night, it's always me and 3 or 4 other viewers. So but that's kind of the set group of people that I play with. And then other days I say, hey, community day or whatever, whoever wants to play, let's do it. Or like we'll set something like that up. But I think it's important to control your content, like Billy said.
Right. And I'm not saying that either way is right or wrong. I think it's important just to know what you want out of your stream and just to take a stance on it, not to feel pressured to do something you don't want to do.
Yes.
Ricky, any quick thoughts on this one? This will be our last question of the day.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with these guys. I think someone said it in chat too. There's nothing wrong with just saying no. I mean, you can do it politely and move on. And honestly, if that person only is there to play with you and you don't want to play with them, then be gone. Move on to the next channel. That's how it is.
Be gone with you.
Be gone, viewer.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for the questions today. If we missed your question, we'll get to it next week. I saw one from Meanwhile about the holidays, which would be perfect for next week. So thank you guys so much for watching. It has been 2 hours here on StreamKick. Thanks for sticking with us through all the technical issues and drops and Belly's little solo for 20 minutes. All the
My
goodness.
camera.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. And thanks to Ricky for being here. Thank you, sir. Is there anything you want to say to people before we head off? Where they can find you, where to find StreamKick, all that goodness?
Yeah. I mean, first off, thanks for having me on here, guys. It was a real pleasure getting to meet you guys in person at TwitchCon. I really enjoy the show. So it's an honor for me to even be on the show and be able to contribute. So hopefully it was helpful for everybody. StreamKick.com, real easy. We're on Twitter. That's kind of our primary social channel, at StreamKick. Keep it simple. We have a Discord as well. You can find that on our website. And as I said before, we're in beta. So we need people to just test it out. Tell us what they think. It's free. Hop in, drop in your email, sign up. We will get you invited. You can come in, you can try it, and then tell us what you think.
Awesome. Yeah, make sure you guys go check that out. The link is in the chat if you want to go check it out now. And if you're listening to this after the fact or watching the VOD, we will put the links in the descriptions and show notes as always. I also want to hand this off to Sown. Anything you want to say, people, before we head off here?
Thanks everyone for supporting TRUgaming. I say it every time, but we can't do without you guys, so we appreciate it.
Awesome. And of course, Belly, last thoughts, comments.
Thank you guys for coming out and asking questions and learning about StreamKick. I'm really excited for this, and I hope you guys are excited as I am, and I think everybody probably is because it only benefits everybody. But yeah, thanks for hanging out and letting us help you guys with any questions you have, and just a lot of fun. I really like doing this.
Awesome stuff. All right, guys. Well, we will be back next week on, I guess, Wednesday night for the After Dark. Not sure about Thursday show tomorrow, but you guys can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Twitch, YouTube, Spreaker, Stitcher, anything and everything. We're out there. Just search for Stream or Twitch. This episode will go out maybe today, probably next week, but all the tweets will go out when it does. And yeah, we don't have any sort of countdown screen on this software, so we're just going to end it here. But stick around because we'll rate somebody right after. So with that said, see you guys later. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.